Two things that came up in the break. One was Amy's just brought this meditation cushion and it was way too firm because it had too much filling. So that's a problem I had with the two that I bought. So what you do is you take it out of its cover and then you unzip the bag and just let out some of the inside, which is like a sort of husk, I don't know what, barley or something like that, husks, and then just have a bowl there, keep taking it out and just test the right level of filling, but don't just chuck it away because you might want to put some back in. You know, get it right and then chuck it away. And the other thing was, Anna was saying about something along the lines of having agendas or habits of behaviour that hijack you. Some of them you might know about, but some of them you might not know about. So there are structures of your consciousness which make you do certain things without you even knowing you're doing it. Derren Brown would be a good example. Like if you watch some of his TV shows, he gets people to do crazy stuff and they never even knew that this was part of them, you know, who they were. And part of this process of making subject into object, so you're becoming free of it, is that sitting on so this is where meditation differs from psychotherapy or so it's this guy called Ken Wilber, who's the guy I really like his work. He makes a distinction between waking up and growing up. So meditation teaches you to wake up, and psychotherapy, relationship work, learning, study, all of those sort of things help you grow up. And they're two processes that need really to happen together. Because you can sit in meditation your whole life and you may, so I'll just pick an example. This is just coming to me, we'll see how relevant it is, but say institutionalized racism or something like that. It's quite a common thing. You know, now I see it on Facebook and that's a hot topic. So you might be behaving in ways which are racist without you even knowing it. Yeah, does that all make sense to people? Yeah. And so you could sit in meditation your whole life and not ever be free of those unconscious habits that make you racist in whatever level it is. And the way to become free of that unconscious habit is to learn about it. Yeah, talk to people about it, study it, then it becomes an object. You've kind of moved it out of your subjective space and it's an object that you know now and you can be free of it. Say another example might be somebody who's has a really bad relationship with money. Like they're always poor and they're always struggling to make money, and they were brought up in a family where there wasn't ever enough money, and they just got this kind of scarcity mindset. This is another popular one, probably comes up on Facebook a lot for people. I don't know, maybe it's just my feed. But so you can have a mindset like that that's ruling your life without you ever knowing it, until you have some kind of epiphany or you learn something from somebody where all of a sudden you're like, wow, actually, and then you can see it for the first time, and then you're that's the first part of the process of being free of it. Or so, you know, I'm coming to a thick and fast now. Things like no one will ever love me, or I've got no self-control, or all these kind of things that you must know about these kind of things that drive our behaviour. And the way to learn about those is through learning about the psyche, not meditate. Meditation's not going to get you free of those kind of things, which is why I feel psychotherapy is really important, and studying about these things and all those kind of things. Yeah, does that make sense? So you can only be free of something you can see. So that's really, really key, and that's why I feel that this waking up and growing up thing is really important to do both. Okay. Anyone else have anything else they want to say before we start this next bit? No? Good. Right, we're going to do following our breath as a meditation practice now. And what's this type of practice will be much easier having learnt what you learnt before the break, because sitting there focusing on your breathing is the most boring thing you can do, and it drives your personality crazy. So your thoughts go crazy, your feelings can become very negative, like, oh my god, I don't want to sit. You're dying of boredom, literally dying of boredom. Okay, and so if that's all you've got, it's not really very attractive endeavour, is it? I mean, has anyone tried doing this type of meditation before? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Okay. Are these frustrations which sound familiar?
Less the more you do it.
That, okay, yeah, less the more you do it. But what you want to have as to do anything, you need a little bit of a carrot to pull you along. And if all you can see ahead of you is just endless boredom and discomfort, chances are you might give up the practice too early. So this is something that you reap benefits from this through practicing it for, ultimately years and years. But you might stop doing it if you don't realise the spacious awareness capacity of yourself, because that part of you could be aware of your breath your whole life, never find it boring. That part of you doesn't do boredom. It's just always alert and awake in the moment, and not pushing away. So any feelings of claustrophobia or panic you might have about following your breathing, and just frustration and boredom, all of that stuff is just coming up. You see it, stays a while, and then it goes, and then something else, then it turns into something else. Okay, and it's just like this kaleidoscope of sensations and thoughts and feelings. But if you're just identified with your personality sitting there, it's going to be hell. Yeah. But you'll see, we're going to do it, and then we can talk about it afterwards. So the instructions are really simple. And again, you'll find people say all the different things about how you should be breathing, where to focus, all that kind of stuff. I did a 10-day meditation retreat once, where it was a Vipassana one, the mindfulness Vipassana thing, this guy called Goenka. And the first 2 days, so it's 10 hours of meditation a day for 10 days, complete silence. It's pretty grueling. And you spend, I think it's the first 2 days just focusing on this part of your nostril, the air going in. And then you kind of like, I think you go to like another bit, and then you start going through your body and all this sort of body scanning. But there's 2 days on your two nostrils, which, gives you some idea of that kind of thing. So what I would say is just breathe naturally. Don't try and so when you relax, you tend to breathe more in your abdomen and lower. But what you'll find is when you start meditating, you might be breathing a bit shallow. Don't worry about that. The more that you do it and relax, your breath will sort of descend deeper and deeper. But if you try and start breathing with your abdomen, it will just become artificial and it's no good. Okay, so you just breathing perfectly naturally through your nose, I think, is best, unless you've got a cold. And what you're doing is just being aware of your breathing. And when you get distracted from your breathing, you get lost in thought or something, you start thinking about your lunch, then you have a moment of awareness, pop back to your breath, and then you focus on your breath again. And then you'll find it won't be long, and you'll be off doing something else, back. And you just keep doing that. And what you find is the longer you do this as a practice, the time it takes from you going from here to there and then coming back is quicker. So you're to the point where eventually you'll see you'll actually see the process of getting lost in thought happening as it's happening, and you'll be like, okay, I'm not going there. And yeah, so you're staying home more often. But to begin with, you're going to be going all over the place, and that's perfectly natural. And you remember, as awareness, it doesn't matter anyway, because as awareness, you're not going anywhere. You're always here. So, okay. So,
I was quite surprised the time was up.
Is that actually 25 minutes?
Oh, was it?
Really?
Definitely getting easier.
So who's got something they want to share?
I found it was hard to keep thinking about breathing, but when I wasn't, it was about just random, nothing of any significance, and then go back to rather than anything that's annoying, you know what I mean? But yeah, a lot more calming all of that.
Yeah, so what you're saying, the thoughts that came up were just sort of spam.
Yeah, rather than which is a good thing as well, I think.
Yeah.
But then go back to thinking about breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a lot of the time, once you start looking at your thoughts regularly, you realise that just rubbish. A lot of the time, occasionally you get some good ones, but a lot of the time it's...
You're not thinking about problems, it was just sort of random stuff for me anyway.
Yeah. Random snippets of, like, all of a sudden a line from a TV show will come up, and then a little bit of music from earlier, or
Bring it back again, to remember you.
yeah. So
I found it hard to draw it back when I started thinking of random things. I don't know why for this kind of meditation. I just, instead of being able to put it back, I kind of ran with the thoughts, and then it was kind of, oh yeah, there's a rocking horse in the room. Oh, I bet that was expensive. Oh, whatever. Oh, what if it take my weight? Oh, what? Random. Very random, I know. But
yeah.
not so much what I was thinking, because I don't care. My thoughts are my thoughts, whatever they are, That's where it went. But I just couldn't, I found it difficult to put it back to my breathing. for whatever reason. So, and then my stomach was going, and I focused on that. Whereas doesn't bother me that my stomach's rumbling. It's rumbling. However, I couldn't. Yeah, found it difficult to pull it back. Whereas other times I can. I can.
Yeah. Well, that raises an important point. Is trying to shoehorn your meditation practice into like this artificial consistency is not a good approach. You're like, for whatever reason, to do with what you've eaten, whether you've been ill, whether you had an argument with someone, or there's loads of different factors feed into a meditation session, and you can have one day you can be super focused like a laser and it's all amazing, and then the next day it's like rubbish just all over the place, and it's just like if you're learning a musical instrument or something, you have days when it's all working really well, and then days where practice is frustrating. But if you plotted it on a long-term graph, you're doing that. But from day to day, it's like that. And sometimes you can get really discouraged from a session and think, what a waste of whatever, time and effort and that kind of thing. But it's good to play the long game, basically.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not saying you weren't doing that.
Yeah.
What you said made me think about that's an important thing to say.
It wasn't a time where, I didn't find it a waste of time or effort. I just found it hard to pull myself back. Yeah.
Yes, it's like learning anything.
Yeah.
I think people with spiritual stuff like meditation, they think it should be amazing every time. Otherwise, if it's not, you're not doing it right. Rocking horse is 25 quid.
Really? Might have been in my head if I done I was wondering if there was any correlation with what I've just eaten, as in altering, not being able to, with the caffeine and the chocolate. Yeah. I didn't know whether that was anything.
Hare Krishnas don't eat garlic or onions.
Right. Toxic.
But no, because of the what they say is the effect it has on your mind, makes your mind go a bit crazy. Which is pretty incredible because their food is really nice. I don't know if anyone's eaten Hare Krishna food before. It's great, but they don't use garlic and onions. Right. I wasn't sure about that, and then I went through a phase of having a lot of garlic, and I was not sleeping properly, and a few occasions I've had raw grated garlic quite soon before going to bed, and I've gone to bed and my mind's just been so that's just anecdotal. I love onions and garlic. Yeah. I'd rather eat them and have a crazy mind. Anyone else?
I just had I think it was a lot of dream state, really.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like it wasn't for very long. I could pull myself back, but maybe it was ages, I don't know. But then I could pull myself back to breathing again, but then it would go into, it wasn't conscious thought, it was unconscious thought, I guess. Or, a dream. It was definitely dreamlike because none of it was real.
Daydreaming.
Yeah, very much. It was I don't know.
Controversial to that, I found it quite a useful tool to focus on some sort of project work or some things that are going on in my mind, because I'm in a relaxed state, I can think clearly. So I sort of used it as a visualisation technique. I didn't dream off, or I didn't go into nothing.
Yeah.
I don't get many random thoughts. I'm quite analytical, like in
It's
terms.
quite similar. Thoughts I quite enjoy figuring out. And it's like, should I just want
Yeah,
to
I
stay with them
enjoy
because
to be
I'm aware of them.
chilled. Yeah.
Aware that they're happening, but it's just quite interesting.
Yeah.
Thing coming back, but
Well, that's a different type of meditation. So sometimes people say, I need to go and meditate on this problem,
okay.
you know, or something, and you sit in your armchair and do, you know, whatever you do to get into that relaxed state, to contemplate something that really needs some proper thought. So yeah, nothing wrong with that as a practice. And the more you do these kind of meditation practices, the more you're able to focus properly in a relaxed, focused way. So
Yeah, I just found
what I would
breathing
say
really
about that
helpful.
is that's a different type of meditation practice in its own right, which is great.
Yeah,
And-
I think
but if
I'll
you're-
just use breathing though to sort of as a tool to engage into deep thought. If there's something that I need to really think through clearly,
Yeah,
I think that's what I'll do. But I'll also incorporate it in other ways of disattachment
Yeah.
to release.
so well, what you're making me think there that's important is that being able to focus on your breathing is a universal skill that can be plugged into any activity. So this brings us to the why do this at all? Why focus on your breathing? What's the point of it? And one of the points is to get you into a relaxed and focused state with a clearer mind and less random thoughts and that kind of thing. So that's a sort of universal skill that you can plug into that type of thing where you're meditating on a particular project or something.
Trouble is I won't be able to relax, will I? Because I'll get into that mode of thought.
Yeah,
Like, I'll use this as a way of getting through things of importance that I can't focus on in everyday life. So then
Well,
will I have a danger of not being able to relax because then I get used to sort of thinking.
well, I think the
No,
thing is
it's
to just try and do one thing at a time.
I've been using a
Um,
lot of colours. Colours are coming in
Mhm.
loads. Like I'll see different colours. So maybe I could associate colours to a technique. So if I picture orange, then I'll think of creative projects. But if I picture purple, it will be that time for me to go into that space of just complete disattachment from everything, so I can relax. So I kind of use it as a colour
Yeah,
coder.
I'd put that in the category of sort of shamanic visualization, journeying technique type of
Yeah, that sounds
meditation practice, which is great. Again, that's another type of practice. So, say you get in a relaxed, focused state, a colour comes up, you go into your associations on it, and all that kind of thing, and amazing things can happen. You have insights and healings can happen, and all those sort of things. But again, it's just a different thing. Yeah, and
Yeah, I've done one shamanic journeying, which I got onto the back of a leopard and went through these amazing forests and waterfalls and things like that. But I did that through dancing.
mm.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
I'm
many
into
ways.
all of this stuff. I think it's all good. But coming back to the breathing, yeah.
So, do you have any advice for when you get to that point when you're just falling asleep and it's almost like the point of no return, because you can try and bring yourself back but you're always like on the approaching that edge again, and I found that once I was there I couldn't, no matter how hard I focused on my breath or tried to concentrate on what I was doing a bit more, I just kept falling asleep again.
Yeah. Well, the more you do the other type of practice we did this morning, the more you recognise awareness, which is always awake. And the more you practice it, you will be able to actually fall asleep without losing awareness. It sounds impossible, and I'll let you do your own investigations into it. There's a lot of stuff out there about it, but through years of meditation practice, or sometimes people just wake up to their awareness like that, just so powerfully that it never turns off. And people that have done a lot of meditation practice report never actually falling asleep, even though they fall asleep. They lie down, their body stops moving. They even have dreams and that kind of stuff. Have you heard of lucid dreaming, where you realise you're dreaming while you're dreaming?
Okay. Right.
Have you ever had that, where you suddenly, it's like, oh my god, I'm dreaming, and you wake up in your dream. When I don't mean you wake up out of your bed, you just suddenly realise you're dreaming while you're dreaming. That is your awareness has woken up inside a dream, and then the next stage of sleep is dreamless sleep, and allegedly you can be aware in that. I haven't personally had much experience. I've had experiences a bit like it at night time and in deep meditation, but not enough to really talk much about it. But lucid dreaming is something I've done a fair amount of. I think that's where what I was saying, going back to your falling asleep. The more you practice, you can go deeper and deeper into relaxation without blacking out, basically. That's the point.
So it's not necessarily something to avoid.
Well, no. If you fall asleep and you black out, then that's it. It's game over, isn't it? But then the next time you do it, you might. It's just incremental progress.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, sometimes I use to black out. So it's not meditation, but ASMR. So what's the difference there?
ASMR.
Sensory, auto-sensory. I use it to get to sleep at night. So white noise, or talking, or So I don't know, because kind of with guided meditation, someone's talking, but I stay aware. Yeah. With the ASMR, someone's talking, they're doing rustling noises, that puts you into sleep.
Well, I think it's your intention's different. So I do a lot of what you're talking about. I've had in my life a lot of sleeping is not something that's come naturally to me. So I'm very, very jealous of people that can fall asleep in meditation in a way, because I'd love to just be able to just go to sleep anywhere. So I've had to resort to a lot of different things and explore it. And there's something I used for a long time called binaural beats.
That's very similar.
Yeah.
Binaural beats, yeah. So
I got into that. I meditated for a few years using binaural beats.
Right.
And it was really useful for meditation. But then I also used it at night. I'd wake up in the night really early and take hours to get back to sleep. So what I would do is wake up, I'd put that on, and then I would just eventually just black out. But I was using the same the same technology, but because I was trying to do something different each time, it was different.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And with this breathing technique, I use it in meditation to remain alert and focus on my breathing, but I also do it when I wake up in the night. I just focus on my breathing, and my thoughts quieten down, and I get into my body, and then eventually I'm back asleep. So I think it doesn't make sense when I say it out loud, and it's not something I've ever talked about before. But
one's for one,
how can you
just happens.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyone else? Why would you want to do this in the first place? What's the benefit of being able to focus on your breathing?
Stop your monkey chatter.
Yeah. So it's in a way.
Monkey chat's good.
But it's almost like a sort of a brute force way of quietening your mind. It's like
something to focus on. A bit like the guided meditation where you've got something to focus on. So if you're listening to something or if
Slower
you're doing
blood pressure.
mantra or something like that.
brute force isn't actually the right way.
No,
It's
it's not.
your what you're doing is you're focusing on a non-verbal
Yeah.
activity,
Or even like
which is
mantras, you're
breathing.
actually focusing on what you're saying as the mantra.
Something
that you've got to think about. It's just something that you're repeating over and over again. It's something to focus on.
So
it stops
yeah.
other things from clouding your mind.
That's it. So the mantra, same thing. Yeah, it's verbal, but it's almost at the.
Yeah.
It's not. It's almost like a non. Yeah, I mean, it could be a nonsense statement.
Yeah.
That it's not the meaning of it that's the important thing. It's just focusing on that to the exclusion of all other thoughts.
Physically as well, it must
Yeah.
surely. I know it's, the verbal is there, but physically, does it lower your blood pressure? Would it work on blowing?
Yeah. Well, you have a sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic nervous system, and I might get these the wrong way around, but the sympathetic nervous system you have no control over. Is that the one?
They're autonomic. So basically
Autonomic.
Autonomic. So that system
Yeah.
is autonomic. That's right. And the parasympathetic is like a parachute, slows you down. I think.
Para.
Is that right? Yeah.
But this breathing's right on the kind of like cusp between the two or something, and it's
one's a brake and one's accelerating. If that makes sense.
you. So the more you're able to like concentrate on your breathing and just go right into it, if you have a really like tough situation in your life, and this is a skill you developed, you can really go into it and just say, right, well, if your emotions and thoughts are just going crazy and it's not doing you any good or other people, to be able to just let go of that and just go into your breathing is a really useful thing.
It's interesting because breathing in childbirth is the thing that you focus on, isn't it? It's
Mhm.
in transition you focus on breathing, and it's the same with people at the end of life as well. You're focusing on breathing and observing breathing. It's survival, isn't it? Your breathing is survival.
Really, if in childbirth, if you started thinking too much about what was going on, that's a big no-no, isn't it? You want to get. And I remember watching Dizzy giving birth both times. She just turned into a non-verbal, grunting animal, with an entirely appropriate. Just like there was no verbal consciousness at all. She went right inside and was just a body, just doing its thing. So I'll say one more thing before we finish. So this, in conjunction with the type of panoramic awareness meditation we were doing before, if you harness that up with this type of focused attention, they really work well together, because if you can't focus for more than 5 seconds, you're not going to be able to focus on your awareness as it is. You're going to keep getting distracted from it into your thoughts. So this is where this is like really kind of focusing the mind. But the important thing is that you if you do the panoramic awareness practices that we did before together, then the focusing has no effort involved in it, which is really key, because it can end up feeling like a lot of effort to focus on your breathing if you're just identified with your personality while you're breathing. But if you can get to that level behind your personality that's just relaxed and it's no effort to focus on your breathing, that really, really helps. And I just love it. I love the simplicity of it.